Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. We're doing a power supply test and replacement on a Dell Vostro 2200 here. 220, not 2200, 220. This one's got some interesting symptoms. It's power cycling. What Dells tend to do when their power supply goes pop is, if they're not stone dead, you get an orange light on the front that looks like this. Notice how the power light is orange when it should be blue, and in a moment it's going to go off. Like that. So as you can see, and then it'll come on again in a minute. There we go. And that's our power cycling. Now in this instance it just sits on orange indefinitely now. But an orange light on the front of Dell is the sign there's something wrong. It will either be a power supply or a logic board. Sorry, not a logic board, a motherboard. Most of the time it is the power supply, so that's going to be my first suspect. So here's our interior, there's our power supply. The first thing I notice is this thing has got an awful lot of dust in it. You can just see through the fan blades there. Can you see that carpeted dust across the heatsink? So it's possible that we have got some overheating damage to this thing. But then it's also just as likely that the amount of dust we've got in there is also in there, which also says we've got a dead power supply. Fastest way to find out is to plug in an alternative power supply, which you've all seen me do before with the big, ridiculously sized Antec that I use. So I'm just going to start unplugging bits here so we can do some testing. So let's unplug the drives. Unplug the ATX power cable that goes in under the hard drive here, and there's the auxiliary cable. Let's pull that out as well, and just moving things out the way. These are all cable tidied on clamps and stuff. Right, okay, I think that's everything. Right, plug him in down there. That goes in there. And that's all we need. Now we'll just put a kettle lead on the back, power to the power supply, and let's hit the start button. Okay, so that's started. And we've still got an orange light at the front, and it's gone off again. It looks like we've got a problem, Jim. Okay, so we've got a dead motherboard here. Let's turn this off and let's have a closer look and see what else it might be. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to revert back to the stock power supply because we've just established that there's nothing wrong with the power supply. Right. So let's reconnect the original power supply. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to take the graphics card out. I'm going to start simplifying the build down to just the bare minimum it needs to start up. So, graphics card out. There it is. And I'm going to unplug, what's that? That's front audio, I think. USBs, and whatever that one is over there. Oh, that's audio. Right, and we're going to leave the front panel LEDs and buttons plugged in for power. And I'm going to unplug the serial ATA cables, which shouldn't make any difference because the drives aren't powered on, but I'm going to do it anyway just because. And let's go from there. So let's see if that now does anything. So power to the back, power button on. Nope, nothing. Right. Okay, let's try reseating the memory. Right, and I'm just going to clean these with a soft cloth. This is a lint-free cloth, and refit that. Next one out. Just sticking a toothbrush into the connectors just to make sure that there's nothing blocking those. Power to the back, power to the front. Nothing. Okay. Let's try resetting the BIOS. Now to reset the BIOS, I'm going to disconnect the RTC battery, which is this little fella down here. Look for the button battery. It's always a CR2032. Actually, that's a lie, it's not always, but 99 times out of 100, it's a 2032. And this one is quite awkwardly positioned. I'm just digging my nail in under it. Nope, I'm going to have to screwdriver that. I might be able to use the tweezers. Let's try that. There we go. Just take that out. Okay, so I've waited about 5 minutes and we'll just plug that battery back in now. See if that's made any difference whatsoever. Honestly, BIOS resets very rarely work for these kinds of faults, but it doesn't cost anything to try. Power. Ah, hello. We've got a blue light at the front. How about that? Right, that was a post beep. Let's turn that off, connect everything back up and see if we've got video output. Well, there it is. Literally, just as I'm saying this never works, is the time when it works. This is why I do the hopeless tests, because however much you don't think it's going to work, every now and then it does work. This thing's still going to need a good thorough clean out. We're going to have to do something with that fan. However, because it's running cold at the moment, it's not urgent. It will start up in this condition. Right. We want, I'll leave the power at the back for a sec. Power. Power. There we go. And on my test screen to my left, we've got a post screen. It's giving me a CMOS checksum error. That's normal. That's just simply because I've reset the BIOS. So there we go. Now the only problem is this doesn't tell us what happened to it in the first place, why that failed to boot. That's a mystery we may never know, but I'm not going to complain. So while I'm here and while I've got it open, I'm going to clear out that fan properly, because that can't be left like that. Oh, the fan is strong. Ah, there we go. I've got a lead on that side. There we go. There it goes. Wow. Gross. All right. Now I would clean this out here, but well, all this dust. I'm going to take this out the back to my air compressor. Good. Right, there we have it. One fixed computer. So unfortunately we don't have a definite resolution on why it fell over in the first place. However, we have got the thing running again. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a software service, and depending on how it all goes, we'll see what moves on in the future. If there's any more updates on this one, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Otherwise, happy result. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.